All right, I want to go through some of the technical side of video, and in order to accomplish this video, I actually have Camtasia 1 open and Camtasia 2 for Mac, so it's a little tricky because otherwise I couldn't show you. You can't be recording Camtasia and show you the Camtasia editor at the same time. So what I'm doing is I'm recording using Camtasia 1, and I'm inside of Camtasia 2 now with a video that I just recorded that I'm currently uploading to YouTube. Now, in this video, we're mostly just going to go over tech stuff. This is the camera that I use most for recording, which is just my iPhone 5. I also use the Kodak camera. I showed you that before, and I've done tons and tons of recording with flip video cameras, both the regular flip and the HD. Now, when I'm recording myself with my iPhone, then what I do, and not all cameras can do this, but some can, is I open up my camera, and right now I'm filming what's on the screen. Okay, so if you're right now you're looking at me, I guess, presumably. I don't know how well it's in focus. And there's this little, actually I gotta switch to video camera. And there's this little cool icon right here, hopefully you can see that pretty well, that lets you see what's going on. So if I turn it around, then you'll be looking, in this case, at me, which is what I would be seeing if I were filming myself. So what I would do is I would hold the camera at arm's length like this. Hopefully you can see this pretty well. And now I'm seeing myself on camera. Now, a real key to recording on video, the actual camera is right here. These two things, one of these two, it doesn't really matter which. I look in between them. That's where my line of sight is to here. I don't look at the camera itself. If I look at the camera itself, what's going to happen is I'm going to wind up looking like I'm looking somewhere else instead of looking in the eyes of the person I'm talking to. Likewise, and then what I do is I hold it at arm's length like this, and I just talk to it. I'll just look at that point that I was telling you about. You kind of see the camera right here, and then this is what I look like talking to it. And I'm like, hey, I'm Mike Long, blah blah blah, and then that's very effective. Now, if I do it with a flip video camera, of course I can use a tripod as well, but this is a really effective recording format just to hold it away from your body. So if I'm using a Kodak like this, then what I'll do is I'll stare at the bottom of the lens, at the bottom of the rounded lens, and that'll make it look like I have line of sight, and I'll hold it like this, talk, 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 and that's a great video format. Same thing with the flip video. I'll look at the bottom of the lens, the bottom of the glass part of the lens, and I'll hold it out like this, and I'll talk to it. Okay, so that's recording with a camera. We want to have good energy. We really want to get our energy up. A key thing I learned from Tim Jasinski, who I did my infomercial with, is that the live camera, sucks out about 25% of our energy. You've heard the phrase that the camera will add 10 pounds or whatever. Well, I don't know if that's true, but what I do know is true is that live video tends to make it seem like you're actually less energetic than you really would be in person, and that's because all the sub-communications that you'd feel, you'd feel the tonality differently. You'd see that person more clearly without any sort of interruption or whatever, without any sort of a filter. And so what that means is that we have to go a little bit bigger to get our energy through that camera and to make people experience that more. So we have to have kind of bigger energy. You want to talk about 25% louder than you normally would. Not 50%, not 100%, okay? But 25% more energy into things, and that's important for filming live video, for webcam, and for picture-in-picture video with Camtasia. Now, in terms of using webcam, then any old built-in web camera will do. You can also buy a webcam. I would recommend a Logitech webcam. Those are just fine. Ideally, you'd want one with HD. Now, I just shot this video a few seconds before we began. And what I did was I had a video of Mystery giving a lesson, and I did some commentary before the lesson. Okay, and I'll kind of scroll through this. And I talked for a little while, and then what I do is I cut myself out of things and fade it out, and then it goes into mystery talking, and he's giving a lesson, giving a lesson, giving a lesson. And then after his lesson, then I will kind of fade back into the picture. Okay, so that's the transition. I pause things, and then I talk to round things out. Okay, so that's how I accomplish that. Just sort of move things a little bit here. And I'm just quickly kind of realizing something, which is that may not have had the watermark the entire time the way I wanted it. So I may have to actually reproduce this video. So okay, so here's what I did. I recorded the video picture in picture, and you can watch Camtasia has good tutorials for stuff, but I'm just showing you how I accomplished something. So as you can see, this picture, the recording, this is the recording of what's on my screen. This is up here is the recording of what's on my web camera. Now, it both captures my audio external from the computer, and it captures the internal computer volume. So when Mystery's talking, you can still hear
all the
it.
subcommunication. That's why it's so important. Thank you.
Okay, so that's Mystery talking, and then this is me talking. It has to do with things that we subcommunicate. Things. Okay, great. So what I did was I highlighted. This was all one clip right here, just like this is one clip down here. And what I did was I highlighted the upper clip, and I split selected it at playhead. So what I did was I zoomed in, and I edited it out. Like when I stopped talking, I could, watch it until I could hear when I was clearly done talking. Now I think this is very valuable.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so as soon as I say valuable, when I'm done saying valuable, I split the clip. Okay, split selected at playhead. Then I went up here, I added a transition, a fade out right here, so I would look like I kind of faded away naturally. And then at that point, Mystery could then just take over. The reason, by the way, I cut out my own, cut things out instead of just making it fade out is because I didn't want to have two audio portions. So I didn't want you to hear Mystery twice, kind of have an echo. What I could have done otherwise is I could have split the playhead right here, and I could have moved it down below underneath it. So I could have moved this clip down below. And if you move it down below, then you don't see it anymore, right? It's still there. So Mystery is going into that. It's still hear me talking, but it doesn't visually display. But when I move it back up top, it does display. So that's what I did there. It's like and I think in me showing you how I did that one thing, it tends to explain a lot of what's going on, if that makes sense. Okay, so then now what I've also done is I've added some images to things to explain things. Now, what I said that I messed up was that I meant to have go to area51lifestyle.com for more throughout the clip, and I think I didn't do that. So in order to make it go throughout the clip, I would grab this image, and I would drag it all the way to the end of the clip until it matches up with the very end of things, which is about 3 minutes into things, right there. Okay? And then that way, you would see it the whole time, which I want. It's a good watermark. This is going up on YouTube and so forth. And then I have an introduction clip right here that fades in. And this is something that I bought on Warrior Forum, just a .mov package that has like these cool things that slide in. And if you really want it, let me know, and I'll try to dig up my receipt and tell you who I bought it from. I don't know exactly who I bought it from. And then this is just another image. This right here is another image. It's a .png image. If you watch my image videos, my videos on graphic design, then you'll see I talk about .png files and how they work and so forth. Obviously, it doesn't block out the rest of things. You can just see that alone, and so that works out really well. Okay, so this is weirdly enough that this really communicates a lot of what there is to know about video. When I'm ready, I'll just share it and I'll export it and so forth. And again, Camtasia has some of the best tutorials out there, so you can certainly use Camtasia to learn how to use Camtasia. Their tutorials are great and will really instruct you on how to do things. Now, what I'm going to do is go in and edit this up and re-upload it to YouTube because I made a little bit of a mistake there. I want that watermark throughout the clip. I don't want the clip playing without the watermark. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the technical aspects of how cameras and video and lighting works. With lighting, again, you just have to test and make sure that the lighting looks good. Right now, the lighting might look like I'm a little bit warm right now, which is fine for the purposes of what we're doing. You know, I might be glowing a tiny bit, but that's okay. This is for internal content, and content is not the end of the world. But generally, we want the lighting to look sharp and good, and so that's basically how that works. I actually have lighting in front of me. This is gonna look a little disorienting, but I'll turn the camera upside down, and you'll see that there's a light right there. That's behind the camera to warm me up a little bit, to make me look a little bit brighter. Otherwise, I would look kind of dark right now. Actually, I can just turn the light off, and you'll see for a second what I look like. I'll be just a little bit too dark here. So here I am, I'm dark. And that gives you an example of the way that lighting works. And I've got one of the spider light kits that I showed you. You can also use warm room light. I don't think that Greg uses lighting at all. So if your room is light enough, then that works out fine. And of course, there's daylight. Okay, I enjoyed sharing this with you. Now what I'm going to do is go into a series of video swipe files I've created for you and organized for you throughout the years of me doing video, and some of the smart things I did, some of the things maybe that I wish I had done differently, and I think that you'll learn a lot from them. Just to have a rich resource of video material to go through and study.